Hey, Greg Brody is here sitting with Steve Sherrick.
Hey, Greg.
How you doing?
We thought we'd warn you.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Mike Russell. I'm the chair of the 911 Advisory Committee. And we'll get our quarterly advisory committee meeting started for Monday, May 1st, 2023. Since this is totally, well, maybe if other people have other people in the room, I guess we'll go around and do introductions. So introduce myself. We'll start with Nathan Hughes, the host.
Nathan Hughes, Columbia County 911 Tech Manager.
Chief Joe.
Joe Kaczynski, Misburg Fire Chief.
Chief Sherrick.
Steve Sherrick, Clouds County Fire District Fire Chief.
And Greg Brody, Westport Fire Chief.
Mr. Fletcher.
Good afternoon, Mike Fletcher, Director, Columbia 911.
Alex Ettinger.
Alex Ettinger, Training Coordinator, Columbia 911.
Chief Joel.
Good afternoon, everybody. Joel Medina, Fire Chief, Columbia River.
M. Beck.
Mary Jo Beck, Office Support, Columbia 911.
Oh, Mary Jo, sorry. Okay, gotcha. Jason McCoy.
Jason McCoy, Unit Forester, ODF, and just me.
Donnell.
Danielle Hooper, Operations Manager, Columbia 911.
Chief Greenway.
Brian Greenway, Chief of Police, St. Helens Police Department.
Chris Carey.
Chris Carey, Emergency Management.
And Chief Pritchard.
Jeff Pritchard, Scappoose Fire.
And I see Tyler Miller, member of the public here as well. I think that's everybody. If I didn't call your name, please let me know.
And you have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Are there any additions to the agenda? Or I think the agenda I got had under the director's report after CFO recruitment had tow service contracts and ambulance service area. I believe those should be taken off. You'll mention those in your report, but there's not a specific item for those. Is that correct?
That is correct. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other additions to the agenda? Okay. I'll go ahead and add public comment to the agenda. So this is an opportunity for the public to comment. Any member of the public that wishes to address the committee. All right, second call. Any member of the public that wishes to address the committee? Third and final call for public comment. Hearing or seeing none in the chat, I will move on. District updates. Operations report. Donnell.
Hello. We've had a couple of staffing changes. One of our dispatchers, it's actually been here for 5 years, gave us notice and is moving on for a career as a paramedic. And so we wish him well. We finished up our National Telecommunications Week, and we're very grateful for all of the agencies that shared their recognition of us and showed a lot of support. We finished up our spring all staff training, and I wanted to give a special thanks to Will with Miss Birkenfeld for coming over and helping us by teaching. We could pass that on. And we just closed our hiring process this last Friday. And so I'm going through applications. We got a healthy dose of them, and it's looking good.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have questions for Donnell? Members of the committee? Okay, equipment and technological briefing. Nathan.
So in the last month, Mike and I visited ICC, the International CAD Consortium, where we met with many other agencies from across the United States to learn how they operate, their struggles they have, and what works well for them. And we also met with software and hardware vendors to learn more about the future of 911 dispatching. We've recently installed a new ductless AC system into our MIC file room to help with the humidity with all the files in there. A leak was discovered in our building in one of the skylights, so we're getting that worked on. We are also getting quotes to fix some water damage to the exterior of our facility, and we are also working on upgrading the AV system in our MIG so that we can host virtual meetings and allow other agencies who host their meetings here to use the Teams and Zoom seamlessly in our room. That's all I got.
Okay. Any questions for Nathan from the committee? Hearing none, I'll move on. Director's report. Mike.
Hey, everybody. Going backwards on our radio site work that we're working on. Of note is the Bald Hill site that we've been dealing with for some time. We did receive all of the equipment from our vendors to raise both the equipment on our current tower here at dispatch, as well as new transmitters and receivers. That equipment was received and the civil work commenced on, at least on our side. At the conclusion of this uplift, the new equipment did make some improvements, but not to the extent that we had hoped for. So we're contemplating additional work. We're working with both Day Wireless, our microwave provider, as well as Scappoose Fire, who's assisting us with some aerial work, helping us identify potential obstructions. So I'll keep you posted on that. As you guys are aware that we are rebuilding our Meisner site. It's been a little moist in this area for the last several weeks and months. And so we had to put some pause on the civil construction because we were just tearing up the site and the roads, which was impacting the neighbors up there. So that pause is expired and we're now back in full swing. Making great progress. Our expectation for site completion should be by the end of this fiscal year, so sometime in June. We continue to work on the completion of phase 2 and 3 of our microwave upgrades. One of them, of course, is the Meisner site. There's a new shot there from that tower to Klatskanai. We're also working on a new pathway between Dispatch and Green Mountain, Klatskanai to Columbia Heights, which is above Longview, and a new path between Klatskanai and Corey Hill. We've had some significant delays with supply chain issues in getting all of our components, but the majority have been delivered. We're working with M&I and again, Day Wireless for the civil work to begin. We're estimating we'll get started, if not the end of this month, in June. We're coordinating schedules between all three entities. Day Wireless radio, Day Wireless civil, and M&I. Going through my notes here. Next Gen radio project. I know you're all anxiously awaiting that. Last week, the board, during their regular meeting, did approve phase 2 of the federal contract. So that will start to take off here in the next week. I've already had one conversation with them this morning. We'll be getting our project team together, and we'll be in contact with each of you as we schedule meetings with all of the end users. Any questions so far? See none.
Yeah,
Hearing-
so they got scope of work.
Yep.
Now we'll be working on, the work group will be working on requirements, right?
Correct. This entire phase 2 is meeting with all the end users and myself with federal, where we're developing the systems requirements and expectations. And it's based on all of your input. So stand by and we'll be scheduling meetings with you.
And then, so once we get that together, what happens? What's the next step?
Yep. So once that list is compiled, Em and I will come back and again meet with our work group to get their approval of it. I'm not positive right now if that requirements list will go before the board first, or it'll go directly to Motorola to meet or beat. But regardless, at the end, all of that comes back with the response, or the hopeful response from, in this case, Motorola, to present to the advisory committee and then the board. And then a decision will be made whether to pursue, if there is justification for a sole source, or whether we'll utilize all that work that the work group and the advisory committee puts together will be the basis of an RFP or an RFQ or an ITB. So that remains to be seen until we get the response.
So, okay. So just to be clear, there has been no determination to provide Motorola with a sole source contract at this point.
Absolutely none.
Thank you. Any other questions regarding the Next Gen Radio project? Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Okay, continuing on. As most of all of you are aware, we've been searching for a replacement for Nancy, who actually retired this last fall. We did 18 months of our own internal recruitment, running the system with very little to no results. We did get some applicants, but none of them were qualified. So several months ago, 3-4 months ago, we hired a recruiting firm, Rothman, and they conducted a process. We held an interview a couple of weeks ago, made a conditional offer to an applicant, and after all backgrounds and investigations and all that, as of this past Friday, we extended the official offer. So this person is named Mickey Nichols. She will be joining us on Monday, May 15th. Her background is she works for a fire district in the state of Washington as both a finance manager and an HR manager. So it's exactly what Nancy was doing here. She's very excited. We're very excited. She's already bought a home here in St. Helens. So we'll be putting out the red carpet here in a couple of weeks. I also want to share with you, we went through our first budget hearing last week, and I'm happy to go over that. If you're interested, that budget document has been posted to our website if you want to see the whole thing. But some of the highlights, our budget's broken down into personnel services, materials and services, revenues, etc. Of note, our personnel services portion of the budget increased by 3.14% over this current fiscal year. And that's really just based on CPI, what we're dealing with. We are in contract negotiations with our association. We have step increases longevity, wage increases that we budget for, PERS, and of course, our medical, dental, vision insurance rates increase incrementally, some more than others. Kaiser was 16% this year, or will be this year. And of course, our PERS rates are adjusted annually as well. Materials and services, that portion of the budget is increasing by $329,300 over the current fiscal year, and that represents a 34.12% increase from the current fiscal year. And the drivers of that is completion of projects that we've been actually ongoing over the last couple of fiscal years. And we hope to complete this next fiscal year, and that is the Meisner site rebuild, completion of phase 2 and 3 of our microwave replacement project. We plan for the renewal of a special option levy, so there's costs associated with that process. Preparation for a possible general obligation bond. That includes legal counsel and bond counsel. So we are putting money away for those things. Public education, and that will be a full approach on educating the public for the LMR system and how we're going to finance it. We're putting money away for potential land acquisition, either purchase or lease ahead of even the funding of the project. We know that we're going to have additional sites that we need. Our thought process is if we can get a jump on those monies being allocated out of our reserves rather than financing those funds. So we put money in there, potential site development costs. And we are scheduled to replace our 911 CPE equipment. CPE equipment is customer premise equipment for our 911 phone system, which is different than our admin phone system. We pay a portion of it, the state of Oregon pays a portion of it, so we have money set aside for that. All total, the budget for this next fiscal year totals $12,166,310. And that's an increase of $532,603 over the current fiscal year, or when you break it down to a percentage, it's 4.58% increase over the current fiscal year. And I'll take any questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions for the director? So for is there like a capital account for equipment that we keep track of the capital investment of the new next gen system versus just regular upgrades? Is that kept separately?
Well, a couple of things. So we have 3 reserve accounts. One is facilities. The second is equipment. And the third is loss revenue. So loss revenue is the smallest of the 3, and it is specifically just for that. If we should have a bond measure fail or a levy fail, or collections from the state or the county's property taxes should decrease for any reason, that reserve fund is sitting there to help maintain operations. I will say on the revenue side, we get projections from the county, what we are expecting to collect for the next fiscal year. The county's pretty conservative on that. And then we double down and we are even more conservative from what the county tells us. But I'll tell you, since my time here, both the county's projections and ours have exceeded our conservative projections. So we've collected more than what we were expecting to collect. So that's that reserve account. The facilities is just what it sounds like. It's for this building and our mountaintop sites, the actual physical shelters. So anything that relates to buildings that we have, replacement, repair, upgrades, that comes out of the facilities reserve fund. Equipment reserve fund is more like what you're talking, capital improvements. And that can be everything from radio equipment, CAD equipment, servers, computers, anything that's equipment related. And that's where those dollars are being put into. So I think that answered your questions.
Yep, that was that answers it. So yeah, if we look at the budget, we'll see those
Correct.
Different accounts in the budget.
Correct.
Okay, any other questions for the director from the committee? Not hearing any. Anything else, Mike?
No, sir.
All right, roundtables next. So anything info share or anything members of the committee want to share, items of interest, what have you? To open the floor up for that. Pretty quiet group today.
Joe, sorry about that. Joe Kozinski here.
Go ahead, Joe.
I just wanted to reiterate the training that Chief Steinweg came out to do with dispatchers. I thought it went well on our end. His 2 sessions down there. Definitely think it's something we need to keep going with on a regular schedule. So I'm looking forward to maybe setting something up that could be more permanent, if that makes any sense.
It makes sense to me. Thanks, Chief. I agree. The other thing that we've been doing is we've been having command staff chiefs and division chiefs conducting sit-alongs here over the last few weeks, and that has also been very positive, a good thing, and would like to keep that going.
I'll just share, it's been a wet spring so far, and so it's nice to finally get some drier weather. We've actually started seeing some, what do I call it? Embankment failures along our roads. So we've got some issues out there, but we're working on them, either monitoring or fixing what we can. So, yeah, it was really wet this year. So seems like the wetter we get, the more slides and earth moving that happens out there. So as far as county roads though, all are open and ready for use. But yeah, we do have a couple concern spots that we're watching. Anything else from the committee? Any announcements? All right, I think that's the end of our agenda. We'll go ahead and adjourn. Thank you all for attending, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.